This meeting is being recorded.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How's everybody doing out there on this Wednesday, August 2nd of 2023? Before we get into anything fun, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate us 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth and go look for us on the socials at the Alex Cuesta Show. And we have a great show ahead of us, but unfortunately, David is still here. Hi, David. What are you doing?
Hello. Hi. I'm happy to always be here.
Who keeps inviting you? Who keeps bringing you back?
As long as it causes you a marginal amount of pain, I'm happy to come back.
I mean, it does hurt. It hurts every time to see you.
Good. If you hear me yell slightly at a cat because she decided to jump on me and destroy my wiring, then I'll head off right after I yell. But you might hear that.
I think I need to pay the cat to do that. Just to do anything to get you the hell away from the show would actually make this production significantly better. But outside of that, David, how's the free state of West Virginia? Everything going well over there?
Pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not bad. There's a box behind me because I had to get my chair done for this office, and I just got that done. So, yeah, no, I'm still moving in some stuff, but I'm overall pretty good. Pretty much done.
That's good. And it's kind of funny because I'm going home this weekend to visit mom and dad. You went home this past weekend, and this is now the second time in a row that you went home before me. I just think you hate my kids. And
no, it's just you.
And you don't want to see my children.
It's just you. If it was your wife and your kids, I would gladly come see them at any time. It's just you.
But all right. So I want to jump in. Last week's show, we had Alex Rosen on, independent journalist and a co-founder of Predator Poachers Live. He does God's work, getting pedophiles off the street, entraps them. And his story, like what he does, is pretty ridiculous. So go give that a listen if you're interested. From last week, it was an incredible show. But this week, Dave, we're doing something fun. Something where, we keep it in the family like we, like to do every once in a while. We're having on Steve Fence. He is a good friend of the family and head football coach over at New Egypt High School. And a tradition that we started with Coach Farrell of Manchester, which I love, we're bringing on some of his football players. We have his captains, Carter Hughes, Brian Lynch, and Aiden Healy. What's going on, everybody?
How's it going?
Yeah, guys, you can speak. It's okay, boys. You can speak. It's a podcast. You can talk, guys. So, Coach, I mean, you're not a new person on any of my shows. Anyone that's an astute listener has known you've been, for the past 7 years I've been doing this. You've been listening. You've been supporting. I've always appreciated everything you do. How's everything going? How's the family?
Everything's good, man. Just getting older. Everybody's, my kids are doing great. My wife's doing great. Just getting older, stuff starts to hurt more a little bit, and I move a little bit slower, maybe eat a little more. I'm just getting old.
What sucks is I still think you look younger than David and I don't understand how you just kind of look the same. I honestly don't like it.
Well, I've had the same haircut since I've been 23. You can't tell that the hair is going away, but it's going away.
So, I want to talk about, right now, you've been the head coach for New Egypt High School for how long now? It's been a while now.
I'm going on year 8 and year 25 in coaching.
It doesn't even seem like it's been that long, 8 years. It's almost a decade. It seems like yesterday that you were just leaving Barnegat and heading over there. How quickly has this time moved for you, coming in as, going in with the head coaching position in New Egypt, small school, something that, you haven't necessarily dealt with, trying to build a culture and a program, to now where, Steve Fence is associated with New Egypt High School around the area, period. What's that feel like?
So, I mean, my transition was honestly pretty easy. New Egypt did a really good job of welcoming me. The players did a really good job of welcoming me, and culture happened immediately. We had immediate success, and it hasn't been hard. The hard part is, the challenges of coaching in a small school and Understanding that Group 1 football is totally different than Group 2 and 3 football, and even 100 times different than Group 5 football.
Oh, yeah.
Those are, that was the biggest challenge. But, when you have good player relationships and they welcome you that like they did, it was the transition in the locker room was easy. The transition in the classroom was a little bit harder. I went to teaching classes that I'd never taught before, from a Tuesday to a Wednesday. I went from traditional scheduling to block scheduling, which was a little bit of a challenge. So there were challenges, but from a football side of things, it came very naturally. Like I said, and that's because of the players and the assistant coaches that I've had, and it's just grown and it's built. And we've had challenges along the way. Last season being a challenge, and the size of the school being a challenge, but overall, I couldn't be happier with the decision to go to New Egypt. And I just love the culture of our locker room, and I love our field. I love our war zone. I love everything about it. It's an exciting place to be, and the future is really, really bright, which is keeps me going.
So, we've had you on before, and this time I decided to have you invite your captains. Now, first and foremost, I want you to go over what went into picking these young men to be your captains. What do you look for? Do you leave it kind of up to the team? Do you make guys eligible? Like how? Because every coach has their captain process different. Some coaches choose it, but so how did you go about picking these 3 young men to be your captains?
So I've kind of done it every way. In the beginning, I kind of came into a situation. I kept a couple assistants on, and the assistants kind of led me in who was right to lead. And then you just see how people respond to people. And coaching, like everything else, it's a people job. You got to know your X's and O's, and every coach knows the X's and O's. The good coaches have great personal relationships with their kids. So you really just see how they lead. I'll talk about Aiden quickly because I think I named Aiden first. Aiden was named as a sophomore. We were in a game last year at halftime, and we weren't doing very well. And we came into the locker room, and Aiden, before I even got in there, Aiden was blasting everybody in a positive way about responsibility and to play hard and stuff. And right there, before any halftime adjustment was made, I named him a captain at halftime of a game. Aiden, I don't even remember what game it was. Don't bring it up because I don't want to remember it. But you like right then and there, I decided, and then you just saw how Carter and Brian just their leadership abilities and the way their teammates responded to them and made natural choices. Carter I named towards the end of the season, and Brian I named at our banquet this year. But they're great leaders. They're great role models. They're everything you want. And a lot of people think captains come from being vocal, and that doesn't have to be the way all the time. Some people are vocal. Other people are just, this is the way you do it. It's just by example. So each one of these guys carries different traits, and I think they balance themselves out really, really well.
So, Carter, I want to start with you because, you're the quarterback of the team. Quarterback carries extra weight. It doesn't matter what style you play, what school you go to. Quarterback carries extra weight, and you're also a senior. So that also adds to the pressure. What have you done yourself this year as a senior, as a captain, to kind of step up and really take on those leadership traits and, lead your team, lead these young men? And like, Coach said, Group 1's a little different. So you're also a D lineman. So talk about, kind of with that adjustment, because you don't see many quarterbacks putting their hand in the dirt, which I think is absolutely makes you a badass. But talk about what your mindset is going into this year and how you're trying to lead this team, especially with the success you've seen Coach Fence have over, his career.
Yeah, so going into the year, it's my senior year. So the biggest thing, I'm just trying to have a good time. I don't want to, look back a year from now, 5 years from now and regret anything. So I'm just trying to, force upon the whole entire team, just leave it all out there. You don't want any regrets after the game, after that play. Just take it all one play at a time and just give it your all, really.
I love that. Now, Brian, I'm going to go to you because you're also a senior, outside linebacker, wide receiver. So I remember when I played, my senior, I had a weird story where I went from football to XC for 2 years, back to football as a senior. So that was interesting. But I knew that, my quarterback was my quarterback. I would go to hell for my quarterback because I needed to be nice to him. His ass was throwing me the ball. So you as a senior, again, it's your senior year. You're a captain, wide receiver, outside linebacker. How are you approaching this season? What has this offseason been like for you? Are you being a hawk inside the weight room, making sure guys are getting in there? How are you approaching this year?
I'm approaching this year how I've approached every other year. I just show up and try my hardest and try to get better every single day. So I've been getting in the weight room, trying to keep kids coming back to practice and just trying to help the team overall.
I like that. Aiden, jumping over to you because you're the younger of the group. You're a junior, but as Fence alluded, it seems like you've had that leadership quality in you from the get-go. You're also a middle linebacker and a guard, and middle linebacker is one of the quarterbacks of the defense. Though, you are sitting there, you're the leader of the front seven, you're setting up that D line. So while Aiden's, yelling at you on the offensive line where you're going in that read to block for him, you're now going to Aiden. All right, kick right because you got to go to this gap. What is that like for you now being a leader? Is that something that you have felt has come natural to you? And how have the guys responded, especially as a sophomore, getting into some seniors and things like that? How's everyone taking that leadership role on?
I mean, it was always a natural aspect of my life, just being a leader and, being confident with the guys around me, because I lived in New Egypt all my life and I know every single one like they're a brother or like a friend, and, they trust me with my ideas and what to do. So, it's just great to have those friends and brothers on the team, guiding me and I'm guiding them back. So, it just feels great being a leader of the team that, I'm just friends with.
That's always good. And, on Fancy, you did mention that, Group 1 is different. And I like to think in Manchester, we were all pretty tight. Everyone knew everybody. But in Group 1, it's a smaller school setting. Everyone definitely knows everybody. And you've been head coach now there for 8 years. So you have to feel like you're a family member to all of these, gentlemen in the community. Still probably being big brother, trying uncle, maybe. I don't know if you've gone to dad yet with all them. But overall, you look at how tight this school is, how tight the community is, and coming in, look at the history of the program. What did you take when you came in 8 years ago as the history of the program, and what are you trying to leave it as now?
Listen, we just, the challenge of a head coach, and that's a great question, is first of all, you get so caught up in the day-to-day of everything and what you're doing is that, while we have long-term visions, those long-term visions are usually viewed in the off season to where right now everything's day to day, and we got to install handback and we got to install power, and mesh and flood are still need to be, they're the same place.
I hear them.
But long-term vision, obviously, you want the school to be respected. You want the school to be viewed upon as a football school. I think we've changed that. That vision of what football was at New Egypt since I've been there. But there's been good coaches before me, and the program's been in good hands before me. The program hopefully will be in a good place after me, whenever that is. But, I just want to do right by the kids, and I want to do right by the program. That's what things come down to. When you talk about how important how tight knit the community is, Aiden Healy, has been in my youth camp since he's been in 4th or 5th grade. I've coached his brother. To see him grow is just amazing. And these guys, we're a family. We get our. I work the New Egypt Youth Football Camp, and I work a camp over the summer just for New Egypt kids. So I know these kids since they've been 4th, 5th grade. So it's not just a high school thing. The relationships that you have with these guys are long-standing relationships, and you guys know, as we're doing this podcast, I keep in touch with everybody, or try to at least, because that's what we're really in the business of, is creating relationships and helping you guys to get to where you can go be productive and successful in society. The football aspect is great, but it's really a relationship job. I truly feel that.
Yeah, and you've always been absolutely one of the best at meeting the athletes where they are. Maybe to a fault sometimes where you're very caring. You're very much in. And I know, with everything like that, with someone with a heart like yours, everyone gets burned sometimes like that. And it happens, but it's worth it, right? Every single time. And I've coached with you. And there are times where, you're just the nicest dude. And sometimes it's like Fancy, you got to be mean every once in a while. Have you found some times where you need to, because you're one of the nicest dudes, Fence. It's so like, I don't know how else to put it.
Aiden, do you want to talk about my pregame speech? Carter, Brian, do you want to dive into that nicely without using the language I did?
I think you use too much language. If I say so myself, there's not really enough to say.
Aiden, do you want to reiterate it somehow?
I don't think I can. Just. I mean, all I remember is him screaming, getting us hyped. So,
I'll talk about it quickly. One pregame, we had an attitude issue with one of the younger kids, and one of the things these guys know that the performance on the field is important, but it's not as important as the culture in the locker room. And the culture in the locker room wasn't to where I thought that all the people that came before them put it at. So I kind of let them know that. Pre-game, I put out a couple bins to collect the equipment of a few people who I thought their attitude wasn't very good. I threw a bin against the chalkboard maybe, and I might have slipped a word or two. Carter, just one word or two, I think. Brian, I don't know. It was. I don't think they've seen that side of me yet. Like, they've seen it very rarely. It's in there.
The ball coach is in there every once in a while, right? That it comes out in everyone. So, Brian, I want to jump to you. I want to ask you, as a senior, we talked about a little bit like how you approach it, but as you're coming right now, season's coming fast. It is August 2nd. It is right around the corner where right now things are getting serious. They're starting to ramp up, right? Going into this year, when you finish this season, when you graduate, when you go into college or wherever it is you're going, what legacy do you want to leave behind? When people think of Brian Lynch, the football player, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as someone who just gave it my all for the team. And no matter if we were 1-7 one year or 8-2 the next, and I'm only playing special teams, then I just want to give my all in every play for any team, if I'm special teams or starting on defense. So
I absolutely love that attitude. Just go give it all for your team. Carter, I'm jumping down to you. Same question as a senior. When people think Carter Hughes, football player for New Egypt, what do you want your legacy to be? How do you want people to remember you?
I want people to remember me as someone that just did whatever it took for the better of the team. Last year I bounced around a bunch of different positions, on defense and on offense. Did some kicking when some kickers went down. It just, I want people to look at me as just whatever it took to just win that play, win that game.
I'm happy you were able to successfully do the kick. I was like our backup kicker, and I could kick, and I had one kickoff senior year, and it was honestly, it was a bad onside kick by onside kick standards. It was the biggest shank. And I remember Gerard O'Donnell, Coach OD, who I've had on the show, just looking at me with the scowl of disgust and goes, "Go get ready for defense, you jerk." That was it. And it was incredible. I'll never forget it, and I deserved it. Aiden, I'm jumping up to you. As a junior, as one of their fellow captains, what are you trying to do for your seniors? How hard are you working to try and make Brian and Carter's legacy one that they can look at, that they could be proud of? Is it something that's important to you to give your seniors a good send-off this year?
Yeah, I mean, I know them since like 6th grade, and they know me since 6th grade too. And I want to put everything out there, like play it's like my last game, like they're playing it's like the last game in high school. So
I love it. I love when you guys are all working hard, working for each other. David, do you have anything to chime in down there? You're just head nodding down there. You're being awesome.
Hey, head nodding gets the conversation rolling.
I just have to call you out every once in a while. So I think it wouldn't be fair to go on this show, but not to talk about the adversity that all four of you and that everyone in the high school position had to go through with 2 years of COVID-19 and the pandemic. It couldn't have been easy on any of you. Coach, I want to start off with you. What was that like as a coach, as an educator, as a dad, as a husband? It was a scary time for everyone. It was a crazy time for everyone. What was the pandemic like for you in terms of everything going on?
So professionally, it's a change, right? You go from one day being in a classroom to next virtually teaching. I teach an elective based course. Most of my courses are electives, so that not that it wasn't a priority, but it wasn't everybody. It was important, but it wasn't the most important. Football, we had our challenges because back then, I think small schools suffered the most because we lost all of our JV team in schedule.
Yep.
Which really kind of is where we're at. We had a very inexperienced team last year that we're stepping onto a varsity field for the first time without a lot of JV experience, which hurt us. But we also went through to where our season was canceled for 3 weeks and then came back.
Jesus.
Came back like 2 weeks before the season. We got through that year. We went 3-2 in a 5-game season. But we were dealing with COVID issues last year. We lost a scrimmage against Point Beach, who we opened up with this year, because we had an outbreak of COVID. Family wise, I mean, I thought it just basically it multiplied what your family was, right? It was if you had a close-knit family, like we watched movies, we played ping pong, we went on hikes, like we tried to make the best of it. I mean, it wasn't an easy time, and the kids got through it, but it brought us together. And I mean, it was really, if you compare the family time now, my kids are all over the place. I don't even it is what it is. But it was that we got through it. Like it multiplied what you are. So it was a challenge. It was a challenge. We did, these guys wouldn't know, but we did Madden tournaments. And we did group meets every week. We did workouts and stuff like that, just to kind of keep the team culture going. And it worked out. Everybody, you found your way through, like everything else. You found your way through.
So, Aiden, I'm going to start off with you. What was that experience like for you? How old were you? I can imagine. What were you in, like 8th grade, freshman year?
Yeah, I was 8th grade.
8th grade. So what was that like? Your last year of middle school, going into high school, having to deal with that transition with COVID, and obviously still wanting to be an athlete and doing all these types of things. What was that adversity like, and how did that hit you?
I mean, I couldn't play sports for a whole year, and I can't do what I love, which is playing football and baseball. So it was tough for me. I couldn't play with my friends. I couldn't go outside and go around and go on the football field or go on the baseball field. So school wise, it really didn't affect much because New Egypt's such a small place. Like I still knew every single teacher because like my family, and I knew every single teacher because they come to the middle school sometimes, and I say hi to them. They're very nice and greeting me. So
that's good. So Carter, what was it, your freshman, sophomore year? Which to me, it kind of sucks, right? You're entering into high school, and here you are. Maybe it was good you didn't have that like freshman experience of all the seniors looking like they're like 35 years old when you're a freshman. But what was that like going into high school, dealing with this, and basically getting 2 years ripped away from you, and then having to come back and adjust, and now you're a junior, expected to kind of be a leader on the team? Like, how was that like?
So when it all first started and I was just kind of hunkered down in my house, I come from a big family. I have 6 siblings and like 2 older brothers. So it actually wasn't that bad. We were all like chilling, playing Madden, playing basketball outside. I thought that was kind of cool when all that first happened. But as far as the sports go, it honestly sucked. I was big into lacrosse at the time too, and that got, stripped away from me. And just that aspect of my life, not being able to, go play competitive sports with like all your friends that you've grown up with. It just it sucked.
And I appreciate your Saturdays are for the boys flag behind you. That's fantastic. They are for the boys. Brian, same question for you. What was that like entering into high school during the pandemic time and then having to jump in junior year? And it's like, oh, I'm an upperclassman. I'm supposed to have an idea of exactly what to do as an athlete and guide these freshmen and sophomore. And I just starting high school sports. Like, what was that like?
That was my freshman year. That was a COVID year. That was the only year that I didn't play varsity football because once the season was canceled, I got a call from an old Pop Warner coach. I went and played in an unlimited league team or an unlimited weight team with kids from Jackson, Millstone, from all over. I was a fullback and cornerback on that team.
Nice.
And that was a fun time, but I would have rather played that freshman year.
So, Fancy, what has preparation been like this year for you in terms of, the program? And has there been any changes and adjustments that you've had to make with a new team? Because obviously Group 1, like you said, is different. You guys are, I feel like your faces change a good amount as your teams come and go. What type of adjustments have you had to make in terms of like weight room game planning, things like that?
The biggest change that we've had to kind of incur is that everything's been pushed forward from a schedule aspect. We actually will have 3 varsity football games before these kids have their first Friday in school.
Wow.
We open up August 25th at Point Beach. So, we're still a very young, I want to say a young team. We have 36 on the roster. And when you consider that's, we have a student enrollment of about 310. That's over 10% of your student populations on the football team.
Yeah.
And we only have 6 or 7 seniors. So we're very underclass oriented. So I put a lot on these guys to do 7-on-7s and be at practice all summer. I can't tell you the commitment level that these kids have given me this summer. It's been absolutely amazing. And we're really, really excited to get the year going against Point Beach, who is a short conference team. We love playing short conference teams. I love the short conference. We want to go and compete with them. We want to be competitive with them. And, we're playing a team. We don't have a lot of like schools on our schedule. Florence, Palmyra, Burlington City, those are Group 1 schools, but there are some schools that we play that are just bigger than us. Schools like Pemberton, schools like Allentown, schools like Bordentown and Cinnaminson. They have double, sometimes triple the enrollment that we do, which it's challenging. It's challenging. We don't use it as an excuse, but it becomes challenging. And part of that has been due to the success we've had in the past. They base your schedule on the success you've had in your past, and they've looked at us and they said, okay, these guys can play with, bigger schools. And we take that as a challenge, and we're excited about that. Hurt us a little bit last year. We were very, very young. We're still very young, but we are excited. And the program in the past 6 months has taken great steps to going to being successful. And, I can't wait to see the improvement on the field. It's a really, usually I can go into a year and look at the schedule and I can say, okay, we're going to be around that win total. I can't predict that this year because of the amount of growth that we've had. Like it's remarkable to see the commitment level that we've had from everybody, freshmen all the way up to seniors, it's unbelievable.
So, Brian, Coach kind of talked about the schedule and how, success is great and all, but success also brings other schools that want to play New Egypt. That might be bigger than you. That might be, pretty good in the state last year. And, you guys have a good expectation level. As you look at that schedule and, when you're engulfed in football, what other schools are doing. And you can kind of see and you just look at it and you're like, oh, well, shit, that school's pretty good. Like, what are your feelings when you see these types of schools that you're looking and you're like, it's a pretty good school? Do you kind of mark that game down and like, I'm going to mark that game. I'm going to get up for that game. I want to make some highlights and we need to go kick their ass. Like, what is your mentality there?
Well, you have to mark it down and give it your all, but you have to do that for every single game. That's how you get to be able to play these bigger, better schools, is if you give your all every single game and try to win every game. So,
Coach, are you sending them these things? Are you writing them out for them? Because these sounds like enthusiasms.
I am not. I did give them the scouting report on Point Beach in May of who they lost and who is, we've been breaking down film and I'm charting what they watch in Huddle, but I've not prompted them with any of these answers. They're way smarter than me, so I take what they say.
So, Carter, for you as well, when you look at the schedule, and I think, do you look at things a little bit differently coming from the quarterback standpoint and kind of, Coach gave you a study sheet and everything and to look at Point Beach. Are you combing that like a psycho and really trying to get your offensive linemen ready and checking, looking at these types of games and trying to get everyone up?
I mean, yeah, it just comes as like just as a leader of the team. You know, we're getting ready every single week, and it starts at Point Beach, so we're excited.
Have you already talked to your parents about taking the linemen out? Where are you taking them for dinner?
I don't know about that.
Oh man, Fence. So one thing that you got to take your linemen out for dinner, man. That's kind of a rule. That they'll fight harder for you. The fat men fight harder if they know they're fat.
I play D-line too. They got to take me out to dinner.
they eat well at pasta dinner, and Carter today decided to open up a Roth IRA, so everything's good. He doesn't have to take anybody out. He's making good financial decisions.
I like that. That's awesome. That's actually really fantastic. Aiden, how about you? You look at the schedule, you see some of these tougher teams on there. What is your mentality going into these games?
I say bring it on. You know, I want to get better. So the only way to get better is versing tough opponents. And if we get better, we can beat those tough opponents later down the road.
So here's the real big question for all of you, and it's super important. Which one of you three controls the music in the weight room? Because that is important. The music in the weight room is big, right? So which one of you three gets the music control?
Aiden's gotten it recently, but I've been hearing some complaints.
Ooh, my starting controversy here. If it's up the fence, you'd be listening in the country. So what is on right now? What's on the mega mix? What do we have? Aiden, what have you been putting through?
I mean, I can put on any music because I like all music. I like country. I like old school rap.
No genre.
Yeah, I'm like not a big fan of new rap, so I like to listen to old school. Get my mind ready for like lifting big weights, you know what I'm saying?
Now, when you consider old school, like what are we talking? Like, are we talking like Fence and going back to like
thousands?
Yeah, old school, like probably like not even like my time. Like, would you even know who Dr. Dre is? Like, I'm trying to figure this out here.
They know. They know.
Big Ice Cube, Wu-Tang Clan, those type of guys,
Acceptable. So the last thing I want to dive into, and Fancy, I'm going to save you last for this question. I'm going to start with you, Brian. Again, your expectations for this year overall as a team. What are your expectations? What are your goals for this season? Is it, win the division, state? What are you looking to do this year?
Right now, I'm not too sure. You're never going to be sure until you finally get those pads on and play against a different team. So I just want to be competitive, and I think we will be competitive for a large portion of the season.
Aiden, how about you? What are your expectations for the year? What are your goals you're trying to accomplish this year?
I mean, all I want to do is just improve the team. That's the main goal always. So
Carter, rounded it out with the QB, the leader. How about you? What are your expectations for this season?
Be better than last year. Be better than the game before, the practice before. Get better every single day and just keep on working.
And the leader himself, Fence, when you look at this schedule, when you sit there and you go into game one, and then all the way down for the final game, what are your expectations this season, Coach?
From day, I mean, we've already reached some goals. We've gotten better, which is so exciting for me. And like I said, you put short-term goals and you put long-term goals. I wish I could pinpoint and to say we want to win the division, we want to qualify for states. Those are obtainable goals. Are they obtainable in 2023? I don't know. Are they obtainable in 2024? Yeah, I know that they are. 2023 it could be a special year. We could go reach those goals. We have to be able to compete. And the best thing about this team and Carter's competing at quarterback with Caleb, and we have competition at tight end, we have competition at linebacker, we have depth and competition at all positions, which is why we're able to grow and get to where we need to do so much faster than I've ever thought we would. Where we didn't have that last year, we had to plug people in holes that they probably weren't capable of playing at points. but we have depth at running back. We have more depth than probably maybe any other year that we've had at New Egypt, and that's a testament to the kids believing and not giving up. And we have some new seniors out, which haven't played football. Andrew Ventura, Kevin Basista, like we have a whole bunch of guys that are buying in to the program, and they understand, like they see it. They see how much football controls the school and how important it is to the school, and they want to be a part of it. So I see growth that way, which no one will ever see on a win or loss chart or in the standings. So when I tell you that we've already reached goals, we have. So I mean, I said, and I gave a pretty impassioned speech at the banquet. I don't know what success will be as far as the record goes, but I can tell you that there's a short-term vision, there's a long-term vision, and we've already reached more than I thought we would in the 12 months after the end of last year that we've done in the first 5-6 months, as far as weight room and 7-on-7s and locker room atmosphere. So now I know it will translate to the standings, just don't know when it's going to translate to the standings. These kids come to work every day. They love what they do. It's a big part of who they are in the school. And those things right there is immeasurable in in where they're going to be in life, which is great because they've overcome adversity. They haven't given up. They've fought through it. What they have this year is it's at their foot. They're it's right in front of them. It should be fun.
So for any young people listening, male, female, you three listening here, listening to Coach Talk, there is a reason why Coach Fentz is a successful high school football coach. It isn't about wins and losses. He is here to create good young men. That is, if you're a high school coach at any sport and your first goal isn't to create good young men and women, then you're not going to be successful. So take notes there. This is why Steve Fentz has had longevity of 25 years and is, going to continue at New Egypt for a long freaking time, because he understands if you have a good culture.
Old.
Yeah, you are, but we've seen guys with like hip replacements still hobbling on the line, so on the sideline. So I could see you being that guy. But overall, if your goal isn't to first have good young men and women, the success will come if you're doing that. If you're doing that, learning the game, knowing the game, yes. People have seen Coach Fentz get on a roll with his offense. When Fenty gets on a roll calling plays, there's no one better in the state. I'm not even kidding there. But if your goal first isn't to have good young men and women and create a culture, then you're not going to be successful, period. So, boys, take notes of that. If any of you guys want to be a coach, that is the first key to coaching high school, college ball, any student athletes. But Dave, do you have a non sequitur question you want to ask?
Yes, I actually wanted to completely ruin your little speech.
I have a piggyback one as well, so you could ask.
Wow. Okay, so this one is actually a little relevant to our guest that you've had on. I don't know if I've been on with Fentz before, honestly, but
it's a good thing you haven't.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I would scare him off from every other attempt, but we all know Fentz is a big Disney fan.
Yes.
So my question is, favorite Disney movie? If you somehow have not watched a Disney movie and have a favorite animated, and then we'll go down the line if you somehow haven't watched an animated movie. We'll start with Aiden.
And quickly here, if you say any of the live action remakes, I'm kicking you out. So fix your answer now. But no, go ahead, Aiden.
Ratatouille, probably my favorite.
That is a great answer.
All right, Brian.
Probably Cars. I watched all three movies. Well, maybe not the third one, but the first two a lot when I was younger. So
we don't have video, but that face was incredible for the third movie. Carter.
I got to double down with Brian. I loved Cars. I love watching Cars when I was growing up.
Okay. Fentz, what's your favorite Disney movie?
Where do you want me to start?
Your favorite. That's where I want you to start.
Easily Aladdin.
Yes. I mean, that's up there for me too.
Yeah.
David, what about you?
I'm not going to answer this. I asked.
No, answer. What about you?
Answer him.
What's your answer? Quit being
probably Lion King. It's Aladdin and Lion King. Those are up there.
Lion King's good.
Hercules has grown on me as like the what you call it, the dark horse.
Very underrated music.
Hercules is fantastic.
I would say like older school is Lion King. We get newer, like Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah. Emperor's New Groove is really, really good. Yeah, this is what this podcast has turned into. But best character in Disney history is Gaston, and I'll fight anybody on that. Gaston was the hero as well. But I want to jump into my non sequitur now, which
I didn't have one.
we'll see. I have one. This actually was given me by my job. So you guys are all flying on a plane. The pilots are knocked out. Can you land that plane with air traffic control's help? Where is your confidence? Coach Fence, we're starting with you.
Yeah, it's all over. It's been a good run, boys.
Carter, the swagger of a quarterback, can you land that plane?
I think so, yeah.
I like it. I like that. Aiden, what about you? Can you land the plane?
Yeah, why not?
I like it. Brian, are you landing that plane? Are you saving everybody?
Can't guarantee everyone survives, but yeah, I'll land that plane.
I like that. David, I think I know your answer. I think you're intentionally nosediving. That's just the type of person.
Possibly. So I think there was like a Top Gun game on NES or something like that where you have to land the plane on I can't remember the name of the damn ship now, but you have to land a plane on there. And I'll practice that actually with this knowledge just in case it ever happens. So yes, I will have the confidence.
So for David, forgetting the audience who might be listening, the NES is the original Nintendo system, just so everybody knows.
Everyone should know that.
And for me, my answer is absolutely not. I could not land that plane. I would look for water, and if water isn't available, I would ask if there's a preacher and a mon, someone on there to kind of give us our blessings, and that's the end of us. So
go straight to the mini bar. You're good.
Good. That's exactly it. I would be like, ladies, let's get all the mini drinks out here. I don't care. Let's do this.
Of course, if you're over 21, you three shouldn't do that.
I mean, guys, if the plane's going down, have at it. Honestly, I don't care. Plane's going down. I don't care about your age. It doesn't matter at that point anyway.
My licensure says I can't say that.
My podcast says I can. Anyway.
You can. I can't.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. This was a good time.
Awesome. I appreciate you having us. And, pop out to a game. We'd love to have you.
If I'm ever in Jersey, you got to remember, I'm up here in New York. So I'm in Poughkeepsie. David's in West Virginia now.
It's a short flight.
I've had Coach Farrell yelling at me for 2 years to come to a practice, come to a game, and he doesn't remember that I'm all the way up here.
If you send a schedule over, I might be able to come down. Just depends on work.
Awesome. Well, you don't need to work. You have the rest of your life to do that.
Oh, man, I wish.
He just bought a house, Spence.
Yeah,
David got his first house.
I need to work.
So that's it's crazy to me because these three guys don't know that I also coached David in tennis.
Yep.
Which is crazy. I was a head tennis coach before I was a head football coach.
Yep.
Which is crazy because my son is now playing tennis as a junior at Pinelands.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does he have your skill? Because you're pretty good. You were good at tennis.
No, he can't beat me, but
you and Keith were tough to beat. When you and Keith were doing doubles, you guys were tough to beat.
I'm good as long as I don't have to move. I think in retirement, I'm going to take on this pickleball thing.
Oh, pickleball is incredible. Dude.
It's amazing. So Coach McKinnon had it over in Manchester for years.
I know. We have Coach Corby and Coach English who wreck everybody in pickleball, but we have a ping pong table in the basement, so it's I'm good. I don't have to move too much in that. Yeah. Brady's very good. If Brady has a really, really nasty serve at 6'4", so
that's good.
It's kind of crazy.
He's massive. Jesus Christmas.
This thing could go on for another hour if we start going in.
Yeah, it certainly could. It can go on. That was supposed to be a goodbye. We're rambling. We love it.
Sorry.
But no, you're good. It's good, Coach. So once again, he is Steve Fence. If you could obviously tell, close family friend of ours, and also the head football coach over at New Egypt High School. And his captains, if you could hear, amazing young men coming on this show, going down the line. Carter Hughes, quarterback, D lineman, and a senior. Brian Lynch, outside linebacker. Coach, I haven't coached in so long, I forget. Outside linebacker, wide receiver, and a senior. And Aiden Healy, middle linebacker, guard, and junior. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on.
You guys are the best.
Yeah, David, you have anything to say before we get out of here?
Nope. I'm trying to make sure this doesn't drag on anymore because it's going to go on for a long time.
Fantastic. You stop yourself. All right.
Well, it's dragging when you talk.
Shut your mouth. Anyway, my name's on the show, damn it. But
David, I like your hair better than my haircut. You used to have my haircut.
I know.
You look good.
And I let it grow. Fortunately or unfortunately, people that listen can't see it. So
Yeah, well, you look good. You look
We might
good.
have to make that our logo, just as hairdo. That'll be the show's logo. All
I
right.
can't cut it.
Anyway, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5-star Spotify and iTunes. If you enjoyed the show, spread this word of mouth. Find us on the socials. And we will be back, as always, next week with another amazing show. Everybody, so long.